It's time for the 8:05 post show, opening day of competition, third day of the waiting period for the Lexus Pipe Pro presented by Yeti. Look, what a gorgeous afternoon we have. We almost saw everybody surf, still a couple of heats to go to finish off the women's round. So the fiery Aaron Brooks, Vahine Fierro, they're going to be waiting for another day of competition, but we got to see some ripping. How fun was that? A different look at peaky high performance sections, even big punts into the flats if you're a rookie like Marco Mignot. Joe Turpel, Jesse Mendes, Strider Wasilewski. Starting with you, Jesse, what was your favorite part about the first day of competition this season?
I actually got to say Marco Mignot. Like, I think he was a standout today. Like, you come in with so much pressure to prove to the world that you're capable of being there, and he just showed up and blew up, like massive airs, and good work for him.
I was sitting with Strider and Ross earlier, and they jumped straight to Jackson Bunch for Rookie of the Year. While I have you here, who's your standout pick for Rookie of the Year? Just in case you had someone different besides Jackson.
Let me think. I think I'm going to Jackson as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's just overall a great surfer. He's good in the barrel, good in turns, incredible in the air. But it's the crazy thing about when you get on tour, there's so much expectation, but you got to develop yourself. Like, you got to put in the work, and you got to show why you're here for. And sometimes you have big names that everyone has expectation, but they don't.
Now he's got the commentator's curse on him too, so he's going to have to battle through that.
Is that a real thing?
You know what? No, but
that's what they say.
it can happen.
Yeah,
it could.
There's also some just usual suspects. What happens when Jack Robinson paddles out here? It always seems like it's pumping. It's almost like that Tom Curran mystique. He's always in the right place at the right time.
There's just one thing about him, and there's never a doubt, and that's it. And he literally thinks he's going to get the best way of the heat, and he's going to get the scores he needs, and he's going to get the tube he wants, and he's never out of it ever in his mind.
Well, the big narrative coming into this season was there's some big shoes to fill, or there's a big opportunity, with Medina being injured for 3 events, John Florence taking the rest of the year off beyond this wild card. Are you going to see some new rivalries already popping up, Jesse? And who's going to really try to take over the tour, especially in this first half of the season?
I mean, if some of these guys and I have the talent that this guy's had, I would be thinking about it, right? Like, first name that comes to mind, obviously Iago, Jack Robinson, one of them. Actually, Griffin and Ethan, those guys never had titles, and the door's wide open. We got Felipe and obviously a few other guys, but hey, when you take down John and Gabriel, the 2 most dominant surfers in the last 10 years, it opens the gap for sure.
Also looking at the women today, looking solid. Caity Simmers, she's coming in as the defending world champ for the first time in her career, defending pipe champ. Looked really comfy today, Strider.
Yeah, there wasn't any barrels going down, and then she comes in straight in out of the gates and gets a wave like that. She's another one that is, I think, thinking and kind of bringing it all to herself the way that Jack Robinson might. I mean, she's got so much confidence now. I feel like she's a different surfer from last year. I know she won the world title, but she's also mentally in a much better place, more stable, more confident. And it's not like, oh my gosh, I just did this. It's like, I'm going to do this.
717 for Caity Simmers. That was a big number for today's conditions as she went right back to where she left off from last year. Giant heat win. And the funny part about Caity is, like, opening round 3-person heats aren't really automatic for her. Usually she goes, okay, one-on-one, then she takes over. Good sign, and maybe that's the big difference, getting more familiarity with this format. She'll jump right into the round of 16 with even more confidence.
I have no doubt on that, and it's just smarter for her to just keep herself busy, Like, sometimes we criticize, I mentioned on her last heat, criticize her for just sitting too much. And this heat, she was just the opposite of that. Started with the banger, came back out, backed herself up, and she's so talented. She just needs to stand up on the board and give herself opportunities.
Gosh, who's going to push Caity the most? I mean, we got to go straight to Cara Lupo. She was runner-up in the world last year, and she looked insanely comfy today on her backhand. Caroline Marks was just easy breezy, picking the best waves, really smooth. And I guess we'll wait to see if Aaron Brooks enters that conversation, or will it be a veteran like a Tyler Wright who looked good today, as she's still hunting for a third world title was.
Yeah, the whole board is just looking so solid on the women's side. I feel like getting to see Aaron Brooks come into the mix, this whole thing is gonna change, and the competitive rivalries that you kind of have created already, with Caroline Marks and Caity Simmers. I mean, I'm telling you right now, Caroline Marks was so pissed that she lost the world title. Pissed. Like, you could just see it in behind the seething smile. And I felt it, and I kind of had a couple of words with her about it. So there's so much left on the table that has to be dealt with from last year. And then you've got, Aaron Brooks coming in, and, Luana Silva, all these people coming in, and they're just going to get, it's going to be really fun to watch.
Well, the thing that gets interesting, too, is now that we have this true movement, where we have this younger generation taking over the tour, what happens to a Tyler Wright? She has her true rivals of Steph and Carissa not in the jersey at the moment, and it's weird when you see a two-time world champ all of a sudden turn into almost an underdog, if you could say. And all of a sudden, all the highlight reels are the young guns on tour.
Yeah, then that's just because of the development of surfing, right? Like, they're a new generation. They surf different. They surf more front-footed. They drive through the turns a little bit better. They like the power. They like the maturity, as Tyler has, but they have the next factor. And for Tyler, she just needs to step up the game, and which she did. She showed today that she has more flair. She looks more dynamic. And that's what the best in the world are so good at. Every year they come with something different.
The event that continued from Maui was owned by Tyler Wright when they were just surprised that they were finishing the contest at Pipeline. So a lot of great performances here behind her. Just finished off with a win in that last heat, and now she's on the glass with AJ.
Great way to start the season, Tyler. A heat win, always a nice one to get under your belt as early as possible. How does it give you confidence starting out this 2025 season?
Honestly, it's just nice to catch some waves. It's really pretty out there, and the storm's coming in, and yeah, like, I haven't really surfed over a foot at home, and that's like a really playful size. Like, you can actually feel the power of the ocean like kind of come back at you. So it's actually just really nice. And then, yeah, like, it's a long year, so it's one of those ones where I don't have too many thoughts past that heat. I'll have the next heat, and that's it. I'm stoked.
You've always been really open with us about talking about your process and how you approach each heat. Did you make any tweaks to that in the off season?
Yeah, I probably think a lot less and enjoy a lot more. I don't know if that's just getting older or that's just kind of, yeah, like, I feel like this year, like, I've been doing this, 14 years now, and you're always critical of yourself. And so, yeah, I feel like this year I'm trying to find that balance of actually enjoying what I'm doing. And last year was rough. I was injured a lot, and actually it sucked. So I feel good, and I'm healthy, and I'm just enjoying surfing, and yeah, that's about it.
It's great to see you back. Thanks, Tyler.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks, AJ. Well done, Tyler Wright, the veteran, the two-time world champ, pipe champ from the past, able to get that heat win. And it's cool when she's really reflective, thinking about all the years she's had. I mean, she's still the youngest to ever win a CT, and now look what she's accomplished. And in that heat, there is kind of that veteran theme. Lakey Peterson has also been around for a long time, advanced on with Tyler to the round of 16. And our friends at 805 were able to catch up with Lakey with her take on the tour in 2025.
Hey, what's up, everyone? It's Lakey Peterson, and this is my tour take on Pipeline. Pipeline's probably the most famous, iconic wave in the world. There's not really a higher notch in your belt you could have than to win out at Pipe. Maybe a world title is the other thing that would be close. Hawaii in general, it's just such rich surfing culture, and the entire coast of the North Shore of Oahu is really just littered with so much talent and history and waves that have really created surfing into what it is today. Pipeline is the most intimidating and challenging wave that I've probably ever surfed or tried to surf, because you have this big wave hitting super shallow reef, and the reef is really dangerous, so it's quite intimidating. So much of pipe is about positioning and where you're taking off. So you really have to kind of know the lineup and know where you are out there. And the wave itself is, yeah, it's just intense, it's beautiful, it's powerful. Something I really always try and do and look for in a heat is just getting a couple decent rides under my belt, because then at least you're gonna have a nice backup score. And you see all the time people losing with a super high score because they didn't back it up. Riding a lot of waves and giving yourself opportunities is something that I definitely try and apply to somewhere like Pipeline, because it's so easy to just sit there for 30 minutes and not catch another wave. Hawaii's a really great place for a lay day. It's obviously beautiful. Usually if we have the day off, I'll go for some sort of a hike, maybe a beach run because the beaches are so beautiful. Jump in the water, nice meal, go get a smoothie somewhere. Oftentimes surfing in Hawaii is really intense. Every time you paddle out somewhere, it feels like it's taking 100% of your focus. And so when we have lay days, I definitely try and take advantage of kind of just turning that off for a minute and really chilling.
Always fun hearing from Lakey Peterson, a tour veteran these days. Her career took off when she was a Grom, went 0 to 100 and became one of the world's best. And cool how she's had a lot of new things to adapt to in the inclusion of Pipeline. The first thing you got to do is start learning the ropes out there. And Jesse, I'm sure you remember like it was yesterday when you first showed up at Pipe and you're like, well, here I go, got to start somewhere.
I mean, this is the hardest lineup for you to figure it out in your life. Like, not just to mention, this is the sketchiest wave, most unpredictable wave you can have on Earth. It's 5 deep water, and you have the locals. And mostly, like 20 years ago is the first time I was here, 21 years ago, and you got to know who you don't want to be in front of, who to respect, and who you paddling on the wave. So it comes with a lot of pressure, and all of these things you got to learn your own and have maybe a few other friends that kind of show you the way.
You're going to make mistakes, too.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
That's
which
just
I've
part
done
of it.
Was it pretty smooth for you, Oz, or did you have some bumps along the way?
Yeah, no, it's still bumpy. I mean, surfing Pipeline in itself is a feat, right? You're trying to catch these giant waves off the reef, and they're just standing up, and they'll rip you to pieces. I mean, they bust your eardrum, your arm, everything. I mean, there's been, take your life. But and before all that, for me to learn the wave, and like Jesse was saying, there was a lot of Hawaiians that surfed Pipeline when I started surfing Pipeline, and it was a very scary place for a haole kid. You know, I mean, you literally sat inside and shaking and waiting for somebody to miss the wave, and then you'd try to take off, and you'd free fall and eat it or whatever, make the wave, and then you'd have to paddle back out and know that that guy was going to blame you for him missing the wave. So it was like, no matter what, you were going to have a hard time. But it was a process, and let me tell you, once you get over the hump and you find a space out there and you know you're putting your head down and going, it's one of the most amazing feelings in the world.
Once you earn, right? Like
you have to earn your spot.
Yeah.
It takes a long time.
Oh, amazing. And a ton of respect always for the wave. Same process that the GOAT went through as well. You know, coming from Cocoa Beach, Florida, getting out here, he got teased by some of his friends, like, you better go, and he certainly did. He is one of the bravest people you'll ever meet when it comes to putting his head down. But he said it didn't happen overnight. He got more comfortable year after year, and it became his love. Pipeline. Got a house right here on the beach because he loved it so much. And how cool is it celebrating the GOAT today? He is in the water with Italo, also Samuel Pupo, and Kelly just played a nice comfy game. Didn't catch too many waves, picked the right ones, got some looks at the tube, and picked up his 99th heat win at Pipeline.
Unexpected from him. Obviously, you think about Kelly, he's going to find up 100 waves sneaking under everyone's priority, but this one he just had to play kind of a smart heat, and just the only opportunity he had, he got it.
So that cutback is on the same board that he did that killer barrel to cutback combo on the Superbank.
Oh, it's the same one.
Same board.
Wow.
So just carving cutbacks for Kelly Slater. Wow.
That was one of the best cutbacks I think we've ever seen.
Unbelievable.
And that's 2 years ago, probably?
Was
Yeah.
2 years ago.
It feels like it.
It feels like it.
Yeah.
Whenever
so that
it
board's
was.
lasted.
Barrel to like crazy carve. That thing was lethal. So same board.
Same board.
Wow. That's when you know it's a magic board. You can have as many boards as he wants, saving that one. and it got him another heat win as he moves on into the next round. So now we're trying to pick which day we might run out here for the Lexus Pipe Pro, presented by Yeti. Our friends at Surfline telling us, well, we better batten down the hatches for the next couple of days. So things are going to get pretty wet here. The whole behind-the-scenes crew is going to board up this whole place, shut down the broadcast. Expecting some weather, Jesse.
I know. I actually heard some locals saying this is the most weather we got in the last few years, I heard. I don't know how much of that's true, but it looks like we have plenty of wind and water coming our way, and some also swell, like mostly towards the end of the forecast as we see it.
So as we see the next 4 days, we're actually skipping to Sunday because we already know Thursday, Friday off. Next call will be Friday afternoon for potential Saturday start. Expecting the winds to clean up a bit on Sunday. But then looking at maybe even better conditions, even bigger swell Monday through Wednesday.
Yeah, we are going to be running into a mix of different swells. We've got a pretty solid north-northwest pushing down, which is kind of going to be a dominant swell with the size. And then on, I think, Monday, Tuesday, we have that other northwest swell pushing in, with a good direction. So that's going to be what we're hoping to hold on to for this window, and hope that that's a dominant, beats out the north-northeast and becomes the dominant, and really shows us some beautiful lines coming in here at Pipeline.
Jesse, as a former competitor on the CT, would you be studying these maps and trying to get your head around it when you knew you had a couple days off, or were you kind of a wake up and check it kind of guy?
Well, you have expectations, right? Like, I always loved seeing charts and trying to predict what I was going to do, but it seems like, nature always gives something different and throws a curvy ball at you. So I don't know, mostly with so much northeast swell coming, we're probably going to see a lot of sand moving as well. So it's hard to predict what we're going to see at the last few days. But the good thing is we have a solid north-northwest swell, which is more favorable for Pipeline than it is today. So hopefully, fingers crossed, we get good waves.
Wake up and check it.
Wake up and check.
That's the way to do it.
It's a good
and
thing.
as Liam McNamara tells me, he's like, hey, buoy 1 doesn't lie. That's a buoy that's about 180 nautical miles off the coast of Kauai.
And thank you, Liam, because he was the one that really helped me out here with the lineup.
Love it.
There you
Always
go.
helping out. As we get to a fun part of the 805 post show, the Eero Top 5 moments of the day. And it was opening day for competition. Really enjoyed seeing the whole tour coming back into action. And this young woman, fresh off a World Junior title, picked up another big win to go straight to the round of 16.
That was some incredible, just precision surfing. Even though she didn't finish that wave, look at the way she's attacking the lip in the most vertical, most critical part of the wave. I'm really impressed with the confidence, because I've seen her surf for a long time. She's always looked like she's had the talent, but right now she has the confidence.
That's right. Lulu getting the 5 spot, and the return of the 2-time world champ Felipe Toledo hits the number 4 spot.
A funny story, I was actually going down from here to the Red Bull Athlete Zone, and I asked, hey, the winds are good, I hope Felipe does some airs. And then my friends looked at me, I was like, did you miss the first wave? You already done one. Back in action.
We missed it, Toledo. Welcome back. Simmers gets the number 3 spot, Was.
How was that arc? I mean, I just thought about Gerlach right there. I mean, there's so much beautiful old school surfing mixed in with the new school world of Caity Simmers.
Kelly Slater, the GOAT, getting the number 2 spot. Great positioning, nice and barrel today.
Look how calm he looks always on the barrel, and that's what makes him so deadly out here. Look, barely moves, just perfect positioning. Don't overrun the wave. Doesn't get too deep to the point that he's going to get clamped. It's just perfection. Knows that wave too well.
Beautiful roundhouse cutty that Strider was referencing earlier on that same board he rode on the Gold Coast of Australia. Timeless is Kelly, and winning the post show and the Eero Top 5 moments. Ian Govea back on tour, beat John today.
Yeah, this was an amazing tube ride that I was standing over there with Renato Hickel. We were watching, and he took off on the wave, and Renato kind of looked at it like, oh, maybe he's too deep, but then all of a sudden you could just see his board line coming through, and I mean, he was so deep and beautiful, great navigation and technical ability to ride over the foam ball and come out of that barrel.
And just to mention, 22 stitches under his knee cap, so that's pretty gnarly.
Super gnarly.
Wow.
He was still super bendy and flexible.
Still doing that.
Look at that. It was cool when Ian was on tour in the past and Pipe was the final event of the season, and he was under pressure to requalify, and he could not sleep. because all he thought about was falling off tour. And he ended up getting a semifinal finish, throwing himself into crazy pits. It's just thrilling to see him back on tour.
He surfed a heat kind of similar to this against Felipe Toledo, and he paddled out. The wind started to come. He started crying on the channel there. It was like, it's done for me. And somehow pulled a miracle, got those backside barrels as we saw it, and went in to get third and qualified himself.
I love seeing the emotion out of Gouveia. You know, when we were watching the post-heat interview and he saw some tears in his eyes, you know, David Silva was like, hey, if he cries, I'm going to cry. You know, just everyone loves that guy. He's had a long hiatus from the championship tour, and to get a win like this, hopefully he gets on a roll.
Yeah, good times, goofy foot times. And that's what we love.
Let's go Goofies.
I can't wait. I mean, I feel a Brazilian push again this year too.
Yeah.
Just feel it. Those guys they're so hungry and they want it so bad. They look so good in the water right now. I'm just like, you know, Italo's looking like he's on fire. Toledo's back. There's some momentum.
So much happiness when we have a lot to discuss like this. Cuts moved to 7 events. We've got Jay Bay back. Lowers is a regular season event. There's so much good things happening. Hope you enjoyed opening day of competition. Next call will be Friday afternoon for a potential start on Saturday for the Lexus Pipe Pro presented by Yeti. We'll see you then. This copyrighted event broadcast is produced by the World Surf League for broadcast around the world and may not be retransmitted, reproduced, rebroadcast, or otherwise distributed or used in any form without the written consent of the World Surf League.